Welcome back for a new and interesting episode of the Animal Odyssey. Today's animal is loud, aggressive, misunderstood, and quite possibly one of the fiercest little predators in the world. We're going deep into the mysterious wilderness of Tasmania to reveal the untamed life of a marsupial with a name so dramatic it sounds made up, but it's real. Very real. This is the Tasmanian devil, a screeching, snarling, bone-crunching beast that eats anything in its path and is currently fighting a deadly disease that's turning its survival into one of nature's most brutal dramas. Brace yourself, because this devil doesn't just live in Tasmania, it owns it. When settlers arrived in Tasmania in the 1800s, they didn't expect to be haunted by guttural growls, high-pitched screams, and blood-curdling shrieks piercing through the night. These weren't the sounds of wolves or owls, they were something far worse, something alien. What they eventually discovered shocked them. A squat, black-furred creature with wild red ears, sharp yellow teeth, and eyes that reflected in the dark like a demon's. That's how the legend of the Tasmanian devil was born. Even today, their vocalizations are so intense that a group of devils feeding together sounds like a horror movie soundtrack. They produce more than a dozen distinct sounds: growls, hisses, barks, and even sneeze-like coughs used to intimidate rivals. Their appearance isn't helping their PR either. With a hunched posture, oversized head, and snarling expression, the devil looks like it crawled straight out of a nightmare. But make no mistake, they are not evil, just perfectly adapted survivors playing their role in the ecosystem like champions. Size doesn't always matter in the animal kingdom. Take the Tasmanian devil, for example, about the size of a small dog, but armed with a jaw so powerful it puts larger predators to shame. With a bite force quotient of over 550 newtons, this animal punches above its weight in the most terrifying way. It can slice through bone like it's chewing celery and crush skulls with ease. This ferocious bite allows devils to consume an entire animal, including skin, bones, and fur, leaving absolutely nothing behind. Even scavengers like vultures don't compete with that efficiency. Their digestive system can handle all of it without blinking. Devils can consume up to 40% of their body weight in one meal, and they'll do it fast, gorging in minutes in a violent, loud, frenzied attack on a carcass. But the bite isn't just for food. Devils are notoriously aggressive with each other, especially during feeding or mating season. They use their jaws to assert dominance, biting faces, ears, and flanks. It's no surprise that many devils walk around with torn ears and facial scars like battle-hardened warriors. Their bite is so infamous that it's even being studied by researchers in forensic science and engineering to model tools that can break tough materials. That's how impressive these jaws really are. Tasmanian devils are creatures of the night. When the sun sets, they awaken with one mission: eat and survive. Unlike wolves or lions, they don't hunt in packs or use stealth. Devils rely on a mix of brute force, stamina, and an absurdly keen sense of smell to locate food. They can detect the scent of a carcass over a mile away, even buried or hidden. They often cover huge distances each night, sometimes up to 16 kilometers, navigating dense forests, open plains, and rocky outcrops with surprising agility. Despite their lumbering appearance, these marsupials are surprisingly athletic. They can sprint short distances at 12 to 13 kilometers per hour, climb trees to escape threats or chase prey, and swim across rivers if needed. While they prefer dead animals, Tasmanian devils aren't above ambushing live prey. Birds, reptiles, rodents, even young kangaroos have all fallen victim. They'll also raid nests, dig up eggs, and scavenge human waste in rural areas. What makes them fascinating is their boldness. For such a small animal, they show zero fear. They've been documented chasing away larger predators, standing their ground against dogs, and even entering campsites to scavenge food scraps. They aren't just surviving, they're thriving, with attitude. Tasmanian devil reproduction is as wild as the rest of their behavior. Breeding occurs once a year during March. Mating is aggressive, literally. Males will fight viciously over a female, and once he wins, the male often guards the female for days to prevent rival males from sneaking in. The act itself is noisy, violent, and can last several hours. After that chaos, the female gives birth to 20 to 30 microscopic joeys barely the size of a grain of rice. But the harsh truth is only 4 of them can survive. Why? Because she only has 4 teats in her backward-facing pouch. The first 4 to latch on live. The rest? They're either absorbed back into the body or starve. It's a brutal lottery of speed and instinct. Those that make it cling to her inside the pouch for 3 to 4 months, growing in complete darkness. After that, they ride on her back, learning the harshness of life from a predator's perspective. She hides them in dens, often burrows, caves, or even under tree roots, where they remain for months until fully weaned. By 9 months, they're ready to go solo. But even then, survival isn't guaranteed. Juvenile devils face threats from older devils, cars, habitat destruction, and disease. Only the fiercest and smartest make it past the first year. This life cycle produces animals that are hardwired for aggression, survival, and efficiency, because every second of their existence is earned. Just when the Tasmanian devil seemed unstoppable, nature threw a horrifying twist into the story. In the 1990s, a mysterious disease began spreading rapidly through the devil population, a contagious cancer known as devil facial tumor disease, or DFTD. What makes this disease so unique and terrifying is that it doesn't spread like most cancers. It behaves more like a virus. The tumors grow around the face and mouth, making it impossible for the animal to eat. Starvation follows. But here's the real kicker. Devils pass the disease by doing what they do naturally, biting each other, which means their social and feeding behaviors make it impossible to avoid. In just a few decades, populations plummeted by over 80% in some regions. Conservationists feared extinction, but the devils didn't give up. Incredibly, recent research shows some devils are evolving resistance to the disease. Their immune systems are adapting, and genetic changes have been observed in as little as 15 years. A rapid-fire case of natural selection in motion. Efforts by scientists, including captive breeding programs, habitat protection, and disease-free enclosures, are helping stabilize numbers. The Tasmanian devil remains endangered, but it's now putting up a fierce fight for survival. Love it or fear it, the Tasmanian devil plays a critical role in its ecosystem. As the top scavenger in Tasmania, it cleans up carcasses that would otherwise spread disease. Without the devil, feral cats and foxes, introduced by humans, take over, preying on endangered species and spreading parasites. This one animal helps maintain ecological balance, even though most people barely know it exists. And yet all we remember is the spinning cartoon version. It's time to flip the script. These devils are more than a punchline. They're an evolutionary success story wrapped in fangs and fury. They teach us about resilience, ecosystem balance, and how species fight back even when pushed to the brink. Protecting them means protecting the wild places they call home, and in doing so, we ensure that the world still has room for a little wild chaos in its most glorious screeching form. The Tasmanian devil may be small, but it's one of the most unforgettable, intense animals we've ever covered. And it's not going down without a fight, and just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, in the next episode we're heading straight into an encounter with a creature that has the face of an angel and the heart of a serial killer. Curious? Hit that subscribe button, join the Odyssey, and help us explore the fiercest, funniest, and most fascinating animals on Earth. This is the Animal Odyssey, where nature can get very loud.